crocodiles are everywhere. See the Moraletti crocodiles home. I'm like, oh my God.
And 16 diverse contestants with one goal.
It's time, and it's my time. I'm gonna win.
I can't come home unless I win.
And your first look at the most spine-tingling tribal council yet.
It is by far the most amazing tribal council we've ever had.
And we'll give you a sneak peek at an actual challenge you'll see this season. So get ready for some major twists, grueling conditions, and what producers are calling the toughest season yet. This is your preview of Survivor Guatemala, the Mayan Empire. Hey everyone, welcome to Survivor Guatemala Preview. I'm Tom Westman, winner of the last season of Survivor in Palau. As summer winds down, we're hitting Surfrider Beach here in Malibu to bring you all you need to know about the new season of Survivor. TV Guide Channel was the only cable network to send their cameras to Guatemala to give you all the dirt. This time around, the castaways won't have the crystal blue waters, the white sand we had in Palau, no fish, no clams, and no sharks. This time around, Survivor producers announced 2 past players will return to the game. From Mayan ruins to some of the hottest jungle temperatures in the world, here's what's in store for survivors in Guatemala.
This is the first time since Africa that we've been inland without a beach.
The intriguing and mysterious ancient Mayan civilization will play a huge role in this season of Survivor.
It's pretty awe-inspiring.
This imposing landscape is dotted with remnants of the Mayan past. Temples and ruins, which were a main draw for the producers.
I showed them various locations in Guatemala on the Caribbean coast. When they saw the ruins, they were blown away by them because it's such a wonderful natural setting for the tribal council and that kind of thing. And so then they were taken by the area, and then from there, that was it.
They had built these temples, they built these pyramids, they did it without the wheel. It's pretty fascinating.
You can't really place anything on the ruins. They've laid down all the necessary precautions so that basically none of the construction touches any of the ruins.
Though the castaways will be far from modern Guatemalan life, the current-day realities of the country will affect the production.
Guatemala today is 50-50 in terms of safety and danger. There are areas like Antigua which are beautiful and completely fine to go to. But then there are the outlying areas which are a little hairier. And we have more security this time, and we have some bodyguards that are going out into certain areas.
The government of this Central American country sees the upside of allowing Survivor to film at the temples.
Generally, in the archaeological sites, it's not permitted. But the value of Survivor is enormous in international promotion, basically.
Hopefully, Survivor will show Guatemala in a light that encourages people to come visit, because it's stunning. You know, when you think about what it offers, there aren't many places in the world where you can come see this stuff.
For the tourist, Guatemala is a treasure trove of history. But for the survivors, the country promises only extreme hardship.
The challenges are definitely tougher than Palau, and Palau was the most physical we've had. And I think by day 2, they're going to be scratching their heads going, what did I get myself into? One of the things we're also trying to do is incorporate the Maya culture into some of our challenges. The ideas around the stars and ideas around power and knowledge. In the Maya culture, knowledge was power.
In addition to challenges, survivors will have to battle crippling heat with temperatures over 100 degrees, even reaching 124 at times.
That's part of the experience, and it's going to knock them over.
And there will be little relief from the heat. The swimming and fishing we had on Palau are a thing of the past. In Guatemala, the waters are chock full of danger.
There are some creatures out there, big crocodiles and all.
Though Guatemala looks rough, there are 16 brave new contestants ready to take on all the elements and try to become the sole survivor.
This seems to be much more of a scrappy group, and the idea behind this season is earn it. It's going to be a tough season.
One castmate trying to beat the odds is 4'10" Lydia, who might have had an upper hand if the tribes weren't landlocked this time around.
My profession is a fishmonger. I've been working at a fish retail outlet for 18 years. I can fillet, I can steak, I can cut, I can gut, any kind of fish, you name it.
Lydia the fishmonger, as charming as she is, if I were betting, I wouldn't bet on her. Now watch, I'll be at the finale and she'll be sitting in the final two.
Someone definitely eyeing the final two is Jamie, a 24-year-old water ski instructor from Georgia and a country boy through and through.
I've never been outside the United States before. I didn't have a passport until recently when I got picked for the show. I got one.
I imagine he's going to try and charm the women and befriend the guys. I actually think Jamie might do all right. There's some question as to whether he'll fit in, but I think he might surprise people.
This is going to be one of the best experiences of my life, and you can't top this.
The varied group also includes a former pro football player, a zookeeper, and a guy with a pretty familiar job, fire captain. You'll meet them all next. Plus, we'll bring you the first peek at this season's Tribal Council.
Bye-bye.
And later, we'll show you one of the challenges the contestants will face in Guatemala. Welcome back to Survivor Guatemala Preview. I'm Tom Westman here at Surf Ride at Beach in Malibu. Before the break, we gave you a glimpse of the castaways vying for the winning spot in Guatemala. One thing is clear, this is a very young group of castaways. But one of the more mature guys is definitely one to watch. He's already dealt with lots of public exposure and big-time competition. Fans of the Dallas Cowboys might recognize Gary Hogaboom from his days as a quarterback. But just how far will his ability to throw a perfect spiral take him in Survivor?
And this is a guy who doesn't want to let anybody know what he's done. But what he has done is big-time sports, big-time spotlight in the leader position of quarterback.
It's been 15 years. My ash blonde hair is, might be throwing them off a little. When people hear NFL, they think big bucks. I was pretty big bucks. And I don't want that to hurt my chances at all. I'm expecting it to just be tough as nails. I'm ready mentally for that, and it's just like going to training camp.
Combine the scheming of Rob Mariano and the Survivor expertise of Rob Sesternino, and you get Ivy League student Brian.
5 years ago, when the first episode aired, I was 17 at the time, and I said, I'm going on that show, I'm going to win that show. It's time, and it's my time. I'm going to win. As a psych major, I wrote about Machiavelli and how it ties in, and what kind of personality it would take to win the game. So, I got A's on all those papers, so I know what I'm talking about.
He is one of the most confident, arrogant, Ivy League kids you'll ever meet. Brian, on day one, is going to be in for a shock when he gets that first challenge.
Another Ivy Leaguer taking on Guatemala is Rafe, and this survivor knows all about conflict, starting with his own.
Although a surprising number of people are both Mormon and gay. But, I think it's just part of who I am growing up. They don't really fit in with either of those, so I kind of had to make my own path, which is fine with me. I'm totally happy with who I am and, the decisions that I've made in my life.
Rafe certainly is a favorite. Bright guy, funny guy.
I'm an anthropology concentrator and biology at Brown, and I took a class on the Maya last semester with a professor who, is a leader in the Mayan field, so I was like, whoa, that worked out well.
I think he might have a good idea of who to pair up with. He seems like he might be a quick study of people.
The girl with short blonde hair. We're going to the final two. I just want to put that out there right now. She's going to be my best friend, I think.
We could hate each other by, day 3, but as of now.
21-year-old magician's assistant, Morgan, is one of the youngest castaways in Guatemala. And Rafe aside, she's hoping the others don't judge her based on first impressions.
I think before, I open my mouth and I talk, I think people just assume that I'm evil. I don't know. Maybe I just have an angry look on my face, but as you can see, I'm not. I think the fact that I'm, only 21, I'm the baby. The fact that I'm not set in my ways, that I am very open-minded, very optimistic, I think that all of those things will help.
Morgan isn't the only baby of the group. Makeup artist Brianna is also 21 and has already surprised herself by making it to Guatemala.
I remember when Survivor 1 first came out and looking at those people thinking, those people are insane. I could never do that. It looked amazing and beautiful and a challenge, no doubt, but I never, ever would have put myself here.
This game may be too much for her. Or she may surprise everybody and say, you know what, watch me, watch my guts, because I got them.
A lot of people think I'm just some goody two-shoes that doesn't like to get her nails dirty, but I think I can handle it. I think you'll be surprised.
Who knows why I do these things? I'm out of my freaking mind.
As the first female police sergeant in her hometown of Revere, Massachusetts, Amy has already overcome many hurdles, and she's ready to put everything she has into the game.
I'm like Fat Spice surrounded by the Spice, compared to the Spice Girls in this game. But I think my girth's going to work to my advantage. I've been an athlete my whole entire life. I played women's professional football, and I'm strong.
Amy is a combination to me, a little bit of Jolanda and Twyla. You never know which way that person's going to go.
If you tell me I had to go run 5 miles right now, I'll get it done. It might take me a while, but I'll get it done, you know what I'm saying?
You'll meet the rest of the Survivor Guatemala castaways in just a bit. But up next...
Hey, I'm Jeff Probst. Coming up, I'll take you on a tour of Tribal Council for Survivor Guatemala.
Welcome back to Survivor Guatemala Preview. I'm Tom Westman. Taking that dreaded trip to Tribal Council is never easy, except for that last one where they gave me $1 million. We caught up with Jeff Probst, who gave us a tour of this year's Tribal Council, located in a very special place.
Hey, this is the Tribal Council for Survivor Guatemala. It is an actual Maya ruin, thousands of years old, and right over my shoulder is Tribal Council, where people are going to be voted out this season. The big question of the day is, what is real out here, and what did we build? The actual construction took 20 guys, 6 weeks, all day. There are 20 tons of rock that were hand-walked in. Everything was hand-walked in. This is a very special area. It is still a ceremonial area. This is a raised area. Underneath Tribal Council is a ceremonial area that at any time while we're out here, the Maya Indians who are still here can come out and have a ceremony while we're doing Tribal Council if they decide to. This is their land. We are here because of their graciousness, so that was the deal we had to make. There is nothing that touches any of these Maya ruins directly. There's carpeting everywhere, so wherever Tribal Council, which is a set, is built and touches the rest of a pyramid, there's carpeting. Anywhere you see fire on a real pyramid, there's carpeting under there. You can't see it, but it's there. And I think Tribal Council speaks for itself, and certainly my vote. It is by far the most amazing Tribal Council we've ever had. This is the voting confessional, and this is the money shot, because obviously people are going to be voting people out here, but behind me you see one of the most amazing things you'll ever see, which is probably, I don't know, 2,000-year-old Maya ruin. As much fun as it'd be to vote Madison off, there's somebody, a TV Guide channel that I actually would like to vote off. He's been killing me at our poker game. John, my friend, sorry, it's time for you to go. This is the dreaded snuffer. You don't want to get too close to this, but the design is really cool. And the only thing that really matters is the inside here, because that's what puts the flame out. You know what I'm saying? Henson, you know what I'm talking about? Bye-bye, baby. Bye-bye. Okay, finally, we have the worst part of Tribal Council. For everybody except one person, ultimately, you're going to take this walk, which is an ugly walk. And it's always lit with a little bit of blue light because it signifies death. And that's what's going to happen to me right now, is I'm going to take the final walk and vote it off the TV Guide channel. I know, gotta go.
Straight ahead, meet the rest of the survivors who are ready to get down and dirty in Guatemala. Welcome back to Survivor Guatemala Preview. I'm Tom Westman. You've already met the first half of the contestants for this season of Survivor. Now it's time to meet the doorman, the zookeeper, the sportscaster, and the former fire captain, ready to duke it out in the wilds of Guatemala.
I think I can do this. Not the age thing, you know, you think, but I'm in good shape and I work out all the time, so hopefully I can pull it off.
At 63, Jim is the elder statesman in Guatemala, but his age might not be his biggest issue. According to Jeff Probst, it's his attitude.
A lot of his opinions, at least that I got, are negative. And I don't like this, I don't like that.
This retired Marine fire captain isn't sure he should reveal his career to his tribe. Hey, why not? It worked for me.
Dom did well, yeah. And that's the kind of thing I think, am I going to tell these people I'm a firefighter? Because I'm going to have a target on my back, you know, as big as the moon.
Zookeeper Cindy from Florida already has a leg up. She's been playing Survivor for years.
The stuff that they do on Survivor is stuff that, like, that's my life. That's the stuff that I do. I lived in a fish camp and built a fire in my front yard and sat there with my dog at night after work. I mean, I cooked on an open flame just because I could.
Cindy seems a little high wire, a little high strung. And you know, when you introduce tension to somebody like that, they tend to either just shut down, which would probably help her, or they just light up like a 4th of July, which will help her go home.
As far as this area, I'm just like right at home. Rain and everything. I mean, I just got caught in a downpour. It's just like being at home. South Florida.
But Guatemala is a long way from Kansas, where 22-year-old Brandon works on the family farm.
I think they might think I'm the dumb, ignorant hick, nice, innocent farm boy from Kansas. You know, that might play to my advantage. I might play that role a little bit, a little ways, but really, I think I'm pretty cunning, man.
Also hailing from Kansas is sports radio host Danny.
I always want to be a professional athlete, but it didn't work out that way. So it's kind of like getting to fulfill that dream a little bit.
Sometimes women don't do as well because they get to the end of the game and they let men run over them. I don't think that'll happen with Danny. I think if Danny makes it deep, you better watch out.
This former beauty queen honed her people skills in an unusual way.
Actually, I did a pageant a long time ago, and I adjusted pretty well for the most part to it. And I think I can read people and kind of know how to work with that. So I don't think anything would be a problem as far as that goes.
One of the biggest things is I think that you can't underestimate Jeff Probst. I think that he's very much involved in the game, and it's not 16, he was out here right off the bat at 17, so yeah, we'll see where that takes us.
The interesting thing about Blake was when we were actually in the casting room and we brought all the women in, all our female producers, and they weren't taken with it.
Oregon law student Brooke says her hidden strengths will win her the $1 million.
I think there's some people that look a little bit like stronger, bigger than me, but I think I have the physical, like endurance, did cross country and run every day and that kind of stuff. So I think I've got the endurance and just the mental game to compete with everybody else.
From the very beginning, my sons would say to me, "Mom, you should be on Survivor, you could win." But it was never a time in my life until now that it seemed like it would work, so here I am.
As a nurse and mother of 2, Margaret might naturally fall into the caregiver role in Guatemala.
I grew up in a large family. We had 10 in our family. If you wanted something, you had to get it. Nobody got anything if you just waited till everybody offered, you know? So I've always been intense. Whatever I wanted to achieve, I set the goal and I went after it.
Here we are in Guatemala.
34-year-old family man Judd is also a caregiver. He pampers guests as a hotel doorman in New York City.
As soon as they get out of that cab, I make their stay as pleasurable as possible. Give them a load of information and send them on their way. And I want to provide for my tribe as much as I can. And they're going to need me here because I will provide for them.
But Judd's own support system will be thousands of miles away.
The toughest part of the game is leaving my wife and my daughter. They are my 2 biggest fans. So I know that I have their support, which makes me feel comfortable. And they do not want to see me go home unless I win.
Coming up, we'll go behind the scenes to reveal some of the Mayan magic being created for challenges. And later, an actual challenge you'll see in Guatemala is revealed as TV Guide's own Shauna Malcolm takes part in a practice run. Stick around. Survivor Guatemala Preview. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Survivor Guatemala Preview. When I was a contestant in Palau, I thought it was amazing how a third world country could be turned into a TV set. Well, these guys have been doing it for years. We caught up with one of the men responsible for recreating some Mayan mystery for the game.
I'm Zachariah Jensen. I'm the art director of this show. Deal with a lot of the logistics of the art department and the crew management and things like that.
And before any cool sets or props are built, Zach and his crew must set up their own remote workshop with all the tools necessary for a Survivor set.
This is the art department workshop as it's known. Down this end, we've got a pyrotechnician sort of corner slash steel corner. All the steel work and welding and gas fires, all that type of fabrication happens in this corner.
Knowing there will be a heavy workload and tight deadlines to meet, Zach recruits a highly skilled crew from all corners of the globe, literally.
In the art department, we have around 20 to 25 expatriates that come from all around the world. Actually, we've got Uruguay, Canada, Australia, England, people from all over the place, Tahiti. Yeah, we've got South Africa. We've got lots of crew in the art department. Really tight-knit sort of family of people, we like to call them.
As diverse as the crew might be, they must all come together and focus on the central theme of the show. This season, the Mayan culture.
We do a lot of research into their culture and background, and then try to incorporate that into our viewer-friendly challenges and things like that. So it's a balance of what the Mayan culture is or appears to be, and yeah, things that work with the format of the show.
And a staple of the Survivor format are the exciting challenges, a grueling task for contestants as well as for the art department.
Okay, we've got our boats. Boats are always actually quite a big issue in the art department. Sometimes it's great fun to watch the contestants flip a boat that they don't know how to, they're not sort of boat friendly, but in this case we have to keep them out of the water because there are crocodiles here and they could get eaten.
Coming up, we've got an exclusive look at a grueling challenge the survivors will have to face this season. Stick around. Welcome back to Survivor Guatemala Preview. I'm Tom Westman. One of the toughest parts of being on Survivor was the challenges. They can be the difference between having immunity or having to face elimination at Tribal Council. Here's a special inside look at the making of a real Survivor challenge. Survivor challenges can make or break a tribe. That's why challenge producer John Kierhofer makes sure every challenge is not only tough and grueling, but planned way in advance.
The challenge creative team starts 6 weeks before we get to location.
And only TV Guide channel can give you this sneak peek at a real challenge from this season.
It's called Paddle Battle, for obvious reasons. Basically, it's about, like the Maya did, if they had to transport a boat where they built it to the water, they had to carry it across land. Like anything that they built that was heavy, they had to transport it over rolling logs.
But challenges need to be tested. That's when John calls on the Dream Team, a practice squad made up of Survivor's production staff. This year, several members of the press, including TV Guide's own Shauna Malcolm, were on hand to help test the challenge.
The tribe will race down, grab their boat, push it into the water. Everybody jumps into the boat, they paddle out to that pontoon, and you can see there's torches hanging, unlit torches.
Kierhofer explained it, but I don't know that I understand it. I'm just going to follow them and do whatever they do.
For immunity, and 2 cases of beer, go!
On the way back in the boat, that was the worst part because my arm on this side was so tired, like I couldn't even dig in anymore. The rowing, that was where I got scared because I thought they were catching up and I thought maybe we were gonna lose. But losing was not an option.
No.
It just wasn't.
You guys, you want immunity?
Good job, Shauna. I'm glad I didn't have to face you last season. Coming up, the cast members try to guess this season's twist. Welcome back to Survivor Guatemala Preview. I'm Tom Westman. As I know all too well, the game of Survivor is full of surprises, and players have to be ready for anything. This time around, Survivor producers announced 2 past players will return to the game, and the current castaways have been busy guessing who those 2 competitors might be.
The two Robs, Sesternino and Mariano, I think they both were students of the game. They both knew the game very well. They both did very well. I like that they knew not to take everything so seriously. That lying's part of the game.
Johnny Fairplay, didn't like him, but I had to appreciate his ability. Who couldn't? I mean, he never swayed in any direction. This is exactly who I am, and I don't care if you like me. Actually, I hope you hate me.
A lot of people see the people like Johnny Fairplay that certainly, you know, were making the puppets dance the entire time.
The last guy that won it last time, Tom, on this last show, I think he played a pretty good game.
Stephanie is my favorite survivor. I mean, I think everybody loved Stephanie.
Well, I really liked Stephanie from the last season. I thought she was tough and she sucked it up.
Rupert, I really thought he was a nice person, really good soul, you know. I can usually look at people's eyes and tell if they're good people or not.
Sandra, I loved her attitude, even though she was a little out there sometimes with her tone of voice or maybe her viewpoints. But you know what? She never really stepped on anyone's toes. She always held back, and she was always playing two games at once.
The issue of fairness comes up now. In one sense, these two have played the game before, so they're going to know some shortcuts. Working against them, they've played the game before, and people might have a bias against that.
Well, that's all for Survivor Guatemala Preview. It definitely looks like one explosive season coming your way. And with CBS promising two big shocks right away, the twists and turns are sure to kick the game up a notch. You can catch it all on Thursdays at 8 on CBS. Thanks for watching. I'm Tom Westman. See ya.
Brandon, you need to come out to the casinos and apply for Survivor.
It's a good chunk right there, so I don't know. To all the women out there, I will get skinny again.
Yeah, Mom, my friends are going to be so pissed when they find out I'm in Guatemala.
Mayan culture. They created the first ball game, and I've actually seen one played. They use their hips to get in like this round stone thing. And honey, I got some hips, let me tell you.